this. Okay. Right. Okay. So, guys, we'll start the new topic now. Okay. We'll discuss about the security. Okay. Security, guys. We'll discuss about the security today. So we'll start the security. Listen carefully. Security is not so difficult. Okay. Little bit. What I can say, somewhat not completely again. You can easily understand the concept. It's not so difficult, but you need extra concentration. That's it. Okay. Very simple concept. I'll try to simplify it. Okay. Right. So security, what kind of things will cover under security, right? We'll discuss about the um, principal, securable, logins, users, authentication, authorization, different types of authentications. Okay. And what is the login? What is the user? How login and user are mapped together. When you are trying to connect to SQL server, what will happen internally? What is an orphan user? In what cases orphan users will be generated? How to give the access on server level? How to give the access on database level? Okay, and how to give the access on table level, right? All these things will be covered. How to create a server role? How to add any login to the existing server role? Database roles, all these things will be discussed, okay, under the security. Easy concept only, guys. Security, I'll tell you completely end to end, and I'll also tell you the same security can be completed in 15 minutes also. 15 minutes also it can be completed. Again, there is a recap of this session for 15 minutes. I don't again, okay, I tell you all the things briefly. Now itself, I'll explain everything completely. But again, from security side, what and all important things that you remember, again, I'll take one more brief session for 15 minutes. That is enough. If you don't understand this security session, that is enough. That 15-minute security session is enough. Okay. Like how to create logins, how to create users, how to give access on database level, table level, everything I'll discuss in that the next 15 minutes. But again, now I'll try to explain completely with the architecture. Listen it, okay? Try to concentrate it. But in case at one point, okay, if you didn't get anything, don't worry, nothing to worry, guys. Again, I'll explain security briefly for 15 minutes. That is also very important session. Okay. Right. Now let's start with the terminology: authentication and authorization. What is meant by authentication? What is meant by authorization, guys? Okay. What is meant by authentication? Tell me, guys. I hope you heard these words: authentication, authorization. At least you heard this word authorization. What is meant by authorization?
Yeah, authentication means it related with the credential.
Okay. Yeah, authentication related to the credentials. Very good. Great. That
And
is authorization.
yeah, authorization is related to permission. To give
Mm,
permission to.
okay. Very good. Permissions. You're almost correct. Yeah. Any other inputs, guys? Any other answers?
Approval part, I guess.
Okay, somewhat closer to the answer. Next, any other inputs?
Someone is able to access the resource.
Okay. Next.
Having access on some resources.
Very good, Ram. Very good. Next.
No, I think authentication is more about validation.
Very good, Shiban. Perfect. More about validation. Perfect.
And authorization is about approval, approved or disapproved.
Kind of. Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so the same words, I'll rephrase it, guys. Authorization. If you go to any shopping malls, right? Or if you are in the office room, you can see one small blue color board on that door. What is that? On the door of the room, You can see one small blue color board. What is that? If you go to shopping malls, can you access all the rooms in the shopping mall? No, right? If you go to office also, can you access all the rooms? No. So if it is very secured, there is a board on the door of the room. What is that board? Blue board.
Only authorization person only allowed.
Very good. Very good. What is that case? Authorized entry only. Authorized entry only. Okay. So like this color, blue color sign you can see on the doors of the server rooms and all. Authorized entry, something like that. Authorized entry only, like that you can see. A small blue color board. What it means, guys? Authorized entry. What it means? Okay, like this you can see. Authorized person only, authorized entry only. What is the meaning of that? Oh,
Only
no.
selected people have access.
Yes, correct. Not everyone can access. Authorized entry only. Those who are having access only, that people can access that room. Correct? Correct, guys? So authorized entry means what? Authorization means what? Having access on some resources is called authorized entry only, right? That is called authorization. Is it clear, guys? Authorization. Having access on some resources is called authorization. Correct. Now you are an authorized person to enter into that room. Okay. So can you directly access that room? Can you directly open that room? Is it possible? If it is very secure,
No.
then you know
You need authentication.
you have to provide authentication, right? There are lot of authentication modes in your phone. Also, lot of authentication modes are there. You can give pin-based authentication. You can give password-based authentication. You can give sensor, biometric-based authentication. You can give face recognition-based authentication. Correct, guys? What is authentication? Process
Form
of
of a
It
key.
is process of verifying.
verifying the username and password. Is it clear, guys? Authorization and authentication. Authorization means you're an authorized person to access that resource. Okay. Authentication means it will verify your authorization, whether you're really an authorized person or not. I can tell that an authorized person, but how? How? You should have a PIN, or you should give your biometric, or you should give face recognition, or you have to swipe your ID card to unlock the door. Correct, guys? These are all authentication methods. Okay. So authorization means having access on some resources is called authorization. And once you have an authorization, you are going to provide the authentication to verify that's you. Why? Because it's a machine, it don't understand whether you are the other person opening the door. Right? So what it knows, how it was programmable, guys. Okay, if anyone comes to this door and if they are entering a code, or if they are giving the matching biometrics, then only open this door. Or if they are swiping their ID card, then only open this door. That's how it was programmable. Means authentication. Authentication is nothing but a process of verifying the username and password is called authentication. If you are having having Gmail is your authorization. If you don't have Gmail, can you log into Gmail, guys? If you don't have Gmail account? No, right? If you have a Gmail account, then only you can log into the Gmail. Having Gmail account is authorization. But while entering into the Gmail, you will give username and password, right? That is called authorization. Sorry, authentication. Clear, guys, everyone? Authentication and authorization. Is it clear? Is it clear now?
Clear.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Now let's try to understand how SQL Server will authorize. How SQL Server will authorize. Let's go back to the diagrams. I'll explain with the help of a diagram. So we have two types of authentications. I told you last time during the authentication screen, this concept I'll explain in the security like that I told you, right? So let's continue with the same concept. Listen carefully now. This is your SQL Server. Okay. And this is your Windows Server. Okay. If someone wants to access the SQL server, how they are going to access the SQL server in the organization, guys? We have already discussed this concept in the beginning. I guess there is a diagram also. Let me go back. Yeah, you remember this diagram?
They have to go through the Windows authentication first.
You remember this diagram, guys?
Yep.
Remember this diagram? Yeah. Again, let me explain. So if you are trying to access SQL server in two ways, you can access the SQL server in two ways. What is the first method? You can directly log into the server. Okay, you can directly jump into the server by doing RDP, and there you can open SSMS. Okay, there you can open SSMS, and there you can give the username and password to connect to the SQL server. Right? In the server itself, you will have SSMS. What is one way, guys? Directly logging into the Windows server. Imagine if it is Windows Server 10.10.10.20. Okay. What you can do in two ways, we can access the SQL server. One is Windows authentication. Second one is SQL authentication. What is Windows authentication, guys? Directly logging into the Windows server, opening the SSMS there, and connecting to the SQL server. That is called Windows authentication. Clear, guys? Is it clear? Everyone, is it clear? Any questions? Doubts?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Directly logging to the Windows server and opening SSMS, like what I'm doing now. Currently, I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm starting the Windows server. I'm connecting to the Windows server through RDP, and then I'm opening SSMS and I'm connecting to the server. Correct? But this guy can directly enter into the SQL server, guys. Is it possible without having his account in this SQL server database? I told you, right, where the user's logins information will be stored.
Master.
Master database. Very good. Okay. So now, if there is an entry created to this guy in the SQL server, then only this guy can enter into the SQL server, guys. Is it clear, everyone? While entering, in two ways you can enter. One way is Windows authentication. That means directly logging into the Windows server, opening SSMS, and connecting to the SQL server. If you have an access in the SQL server. If you don't have access, this guy cannot connect to the SQL server. That's why we'll add one guy during the installation. That guy can connect to the SQL server. That guy can give access to others also. Clear, guys? Windows authentication. Everyone. But what is the challenge with Windows authentication? He has to enter into the Windows server, correct? How many connections it will allow, guys? Windows server will allow how many connections at a time?
Two at it.
Two connections. But in case in my organization, if I am having 1,000 developers, how they all can connect?
Yeah.
Correct?
SQL authentication.
Very good. Using SQL authentication. How SQL authentication will work? How SQL authentication will work? Same. How SQL authentication will work? So this is the developer laptop. SSMS is installed in the developer laptop. Okay. And what he will do, he will simply open SSMS in his laptop, and then he will give this server name, whatever server name is there, he will give it here, and then he will choose SQL authentication here. Let me show you. Let me explain with the interface. What he will do, if you are trying to connect to the SQL server, using Windows authentication. Here authentication type, you can see Windows authentication. Okay, Windows authentication. So here you have to choose Windows authentication. By default it will be there, and you can click connect. But if you are trying to do it from your laptop, you have to choose SQL authentication, and you have to give username and password. Remember, guys, not everyone can connect to the SQL server. Again, I am saying the persons who are there in this list, these people only can connect to the SQL server. I am able to connect to the SQL server. Why? See this account. Is it created in this list or not?
Yes.
It's created. That's why it is allowing me to log into the SQL server. Let me check with one guy. Okay, let me choose SQL authentication. Let me type Almaz, and I'm giving password. I don't know what is the password. I'm just giving a wrong password or some vague password I'm giving. If I'm trying to connect, I'll get the error. Why? Why, guys?
Because we don't have a login.
Very good. Is Almaz there in the screen, in this list?
No.
No. So no one can able to log in. Dimitri can log in. See here, Dimitri. An account is created for Dimitri. Dimitri can log in here. Administrator can log in. A service account can log into the SQL server. No other people can log into the SQL. can log in. Ram can log in. No other person can log into the SQL server, guys. See now, I can give it. I'll show you. Okay, Ram can connect to the SQL server. I'll show you the example. I'll show you the demo. Okay, so those who are there in this list, they only can connect to the SQL server. Is this clear, everyone? So if someone is coming to you, hey, I'm not able to access the SQL server, what might be the reason?
The login won't be available.
Yes.
It's not created.
He don't have access. There is a chance that he might not have an access to that SQL server. His account is not created in this. That is one error. That is one issue. One scenario. And the other scenario can be, even though he has access, he might not have proper access. Even though his account is created, don't think he can do everything. No, he might not have proper access. People who are there in this list can connect to the SQL server. That doesn't mean they can do whatever they want. Are you getting the point? You are allowed to enter into the shopping mall. That doesn't mean that you can do anything in the shopping mall. Correct, guys? Agree? So people who are there in this list, can connect to the SQL server. That doesn't mean whatever you want, you can do it. No, based on your access level only you can do. Based on your access only, based on your permissions only, you can access the respective objects. Clear? Yes, Sudhakar, you're asking something.
Yeah, now we can see Ram and Dimitri names in logins, right?
Yes.
They can access to the skill server
Yes, they can.
using their login name and password, whatever company provides.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Right, guys? Now, you can ask one thing, Shanmukh. I am just choosing Windows authentication, but it is not asking any username and password. Then where is the security?
When we are creating like Windows already authenticate that person. We are creating the user and we are giving the permission.
Very good. Yes. Yes. So now if you see here, there is already an account created here. One thing that. Second thing is it's not asking username and password, but how it is validating. Listen carefully. Let me disconnect. Let me disconnect to the server. Let me reconnect again. So while connecting, what I'll give, guys? What name I'm giving?
Name and
Administrator.
Correct. Username is administrator, right? Connect and password. While creating this administrator account, you remember after installation of Windows Server, we gave one strong password. That password you have to give here. Okay, I'm giving the strong password. But how administrator is created? If you remember, during the installation of Windows Server, I created the user administrator.
Yeah, add user.
Yeah, No. That is SQL Server. Now I'm just telling about Windows Server. Okay. So now I'm giving credentials. I gave username and password. So Windows level, there are two types of authentications happening now. Listen carefully. Windows level, how administrator, first forget about SQL Server. First of all, how administrator can enter into the SQL Windows Server, guys. How administrator can enter into the Windows Server? How it is possible? How you are able to log into the Gmail? If your account is there in the Gmail database, then only you can log into the Gmail, right? Correct, guys? How you are able to log into the Gmail? Why? Because in the Gmail database, when you create an account, it's create a username and password for you. You are giving the same username and password to log into the Gmail. That's what's allowing. I don't have Gmail. Can I log into Gmail? No, I don't have account itself. What details I use to log in? Correct, guys? Forget about SQL Server. Leave it for now. But how administrator is log into the Windows machine currently? Let me go to the Windows level security, lusr.mgr.msc. Local user manager. Go to users. See here, administrator account is created, right? All these accounts are created, right? In the Windows Server. All these people can log into the Windows Server. Forget about SQL Server security for now, as of now. Those who are there in this list, they all can access my Windows Server. Is it clear, everyone? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now I am just discussing Windows Server security. How people can access Windows Server? How people can connect to Windows Server? Those who are there in this list, they all can connect to Windows Server. Administrator, Dimitri, service account, they all can connect to Windows Server. That doesn't mean who are there in this list can connect to SQL Server.
No, that is different. And
For example, I'm just creating new user. New user, Berhane, I'll give Berhane. Okay, I'm just giving username, Berhane, password. I'm giving a strong password. Okay, and user must not change the password. User cannot change password. Password never expires. Now Berhane is there in this list, but Berhane is not there in this list. Can Berhane log into this SQL server?
No.
Can
no.
Berhane
No.
log into the Windows server?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 To the Windows, yes.
Yes, Windows he can. Windows he can. But SQL he cannot. Why? In this list, who are there in this list? They all can access Windows server. Who are there in this list? They all can access SQL server. In this list, Berhane is not there. So Berhane cannot connect to SQL server, but Berhane can connect to Windows server. Is it clear, guys? So now, while connecting to this server in the RDP screen itself, I am giving username and password. So in the OS level itself, it is verifying this account username and password. So that's why when I'm choosing Windows authentication is very powerful authentication when compared to SQL authentication. Windows level, you're already, see, when you're going to a shopping mall, initially they are going to check. There will be a security check, right? At the shopping mall, there will be a security, or else you are in the airport. Initially itself, they will scrutiny. They will check, they will complete a security check. But every flight, again, they don't do any check, right? Correct, guys? If you are entering into any flight, they don't again go for checks and all. Initially, while entering into the airport itself, they will check your baggage. They will check any items are there which you cannot carry in the flights and all. They will check everything. Initially itself, we will complete all the checks. And again, for every flight, again, they don't check you. Why? Because your security is done. You are allowed to the airport. Okay. In the same way, Windows level itself, this administrator is verified with his username and password, and his account is already there. So you don't ask username and password when you choose Windows authentication. Is it clear, guys, why it is not asking password? Windows level, you are already a verified user. You're successfully verified user in the Windows level. So it's allowed you in the shopping mall. If you go to shopping mall, initially itself, the security people will check. If you are good, again, every shop, they don't check you. Correct? You are allowed to access every shop. In the same way, people who are there in this list, they can log into Windows Server. While logging to Windows Server, they'll give their username and password. So OS already verified. Okay, this administrator is a valid user. Okay, let's allow him. right? You are into administration, you are into this Windows machine, means you are into shopping mall now. This is one shop in the shopping mall. SQL Server is one shop in the shopping mall. So you're already, your security is completed at Windows level, OS level. Again, if you choose Windows authentication, you don't ask username and password. Why? You're already successfully verified in the OS level itself. But what is the minimum thing? Your account should be there in the SQL Server. You don't ask username and password. That doesn't mean it is not checking username and password, guys. Is it clear? Is it clear,
Yep.
everyone?
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
It's
ask
clear.
username and password. That doesn't mean it is not checking username and password. It is checking. See here, you cannot give user. It will take the username automatically. That user is already present in the SQL Server. That's why it is allowing you. To this machine, lot of Windows team can enter into this Windows machine. Lot of networking team can enter into this Windows machine. Storage team also can enter into this Windows machine. All they can access SQL Server, guys.
No.
No. Why?
No,
They don't have account
because they are
created
not
in
in the
SQL
login.
Server. Are we good, guys, now? How
Yes.
Windows authentication will work? Everyone,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
So this is how Windows authentication will work. And the SQL authentication, how it will work, SQL authentication. So in the SQL, the Windows at a time, two people can log into the Windows machine. So that is the problem. That's why if hundreds of developers are there, if thousands of developers are there, if they want to access the databases and all, they cannot directly do a Windows authentication. For them, we have one more authentication called SQL authentication. But security wise, both Windows and the SQL, they will work same. Okay, even if it's SQL authentication, your account should be created. Your account should be created. Even if it's SQL authentication, your account should be created, guys. Let me differentiate a SQL login with some other login. Let me go with this one. Okay, Control Z. Okay, this is a SQL login. Okay, just I'm differentiating. Functionality wise, Windows and SQL logins both are same. What Windows can do, what a Windows login can do, SQL login also can do the same thing. A Windows login also can be a SQL sysadmin. A SQL login can be a sysadmin. SQL server side, their permissions can be same. But logging wise, accessing wise, Windows guys will access the Windows machine first. They will open SSMS in the Windows server. They will connect to the SQL server. If it is SQL authentication, they will open SSMS in their local laptops and they will directly connect to the SQL server. Okay, they will give this server name in the SSMS. Right, okay. Fine. So they should be, let me again. Logins. This is the logins list in the SQL server. Okay. So you should be part of that. Even though it is Windows login or SQL login, you should be part of the logins list, guys. You should be part of the logins list. Then only you should be able to connect to the SQL server, guys. Is it clear now, everyone? This is Windows login and this is SQL login. They are part of the logins list. Even though the company CEO, he has to follow the same concept. So company, if you are a, I mean, you means the guy, the other guys. If a security guard is part of the logins list, he can connect to the SQL server. If the company CEO is not part of the logins list, he cannot access the SQL server. Okay, a security guard can access the SQL server. Why? His entry is created. A CEO cannot access. Why? If his account is created, he can access. But as he is a CEO, machine don't know, right? Okay, you are a CEO, I'll allow you. No, you are a CEO or security guard. That doesn't matter to me whether your name is there or not in this list. If your name is there, chalo, I'll allow you. If your name is not there, sorry, boss, I can't allow you. Clear, guys? Is it clear how SQL authentication, how Windows authentication will work? Everyone?
Yes.
It's
It is.
clear.
Yeah. That is all about your SQL login and Windows logins, guys. So the login which is using Windows authentication, that login is called Windows login. The login which is using SQL authentication, that login is called SQL login, guys. Okay, right. So now that is your authentication and authorization. Now let's discuss about login, not login, principal, securable. Okay, so what is principal, what is securable, guys? So now listen carefully. Who is accessing the resources is called principal. Which resources he is accessing? Which resources he is accessing? He or she accessing is called securable. Very simple. I'll tell you, I'll give you the example. We have a sales database, and Balaji is trying to access sales database. Now tell me, what is principal here? What is securable here?
Balaji is principal.
Balaji is principal.
Above.
Next, what is securable
Login
here?
solve side by side class solve
Deepak.
DBA.
Okay. So Balaji, who is accessing? Bala is accessing. Balaji accessing. So Bala is principal. Which resource is accessing? He is accessing sales database. So sales database is? Tell me.
Secure.
Securable. Now, one more example. Josh and employee table. Tell me what is principal, what is securable here?
Josh is principal, employee table is
employee
secure.
table is securable.
Very good. Okay. Who is accessing? That guy is called principal. Which resource is accessing? That resource, that object is called securable. Is it clear, guys? Who is accessing is called principal. Which resource is accessing is called securable. Okay. Are we good, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Now, small topics. Okay, done. That's it for now. Again, if I start now, it will take a lot of time. 9:30, right? It's around 9:30. So that's it for now, guys. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll connect in the evening, 7 p.m. IST. For US people, it will be tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. EST. Okay, so we'll connect in the evening, 7 p.m. IST, and we'll discuss other things, guys. Okay.
So just open the tracker once.
Tracker, huh? Okay. Tracker. Yeah.
So go to assignment.
Assignments, okay.
Sir, here second one, install the SQL Server using command is there. So
Yes, it's there. It's there, and
that,
we have also discussed how to do that. Okay, go to my channel, SYS University. Okay, go to the search button, check how to install SQL Server using command. You will get a lot of videos. Follow it, and someone already installed, I guess. Anyone tried installing SQL Server using command, guys? No? Just watch those videos. You will get an idea. You will get the command also, and try installing SQL Server using command.
Shanmukh,
Yes, Deepak.
suppose we have two instances. One is a 22 and second is a 19 something.
Yeah.
Now we have patched both the servers and we are using a shared features.
Okay.
So is there any conflict to
No conflict, no conflict, no issue. No conflict, Deepak. Okay, but what I want to say is, in the 2019 screen, you don't see 2022 shade features, right?
Yeah.
In the when you are patching, you can see a screen. There you can see the respective instances only. If you open 2019 CU file, in that window 2019 instances, 2019 shared features only you can see. If you go to 2022 open update file, if you are trying to patch 2022 with any update, in 2022 update you can see SQL set 2022 instance. In the 2019 setup file you cannot see 2022. In the 2022 setup file you cannot see 2019. If they are from same version you can see in the same window. If they are different versions you can see in the different window. But shared features are same. Shared features are not going to conflict each other. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Questions?
Sir, my table is still not executing.
What happened, Pooja?
Like, sir, I have created one database, IPL name. Okay, same. And
You are connected from computer only, right? Yeah, you
yes,
can. Are you okay? You can share your screen. Is that okay for you?
so here is the option. Yes, please.
Very simple, very simple. You can see share screen green button in the bottom.
Yes, yes.
If you click on that, make sure no personals are there on your screen, first of all.
No,
Passwords.
in my laptop is this is new. Nothing is.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so click on the share screen button.
Yes.
It will ask you the whole screen or any windows. Select the whole screen and click share button again. Screen.
Whole screen or that
window. That's what window. Whole screen you can share it, no issues. The first option, the first screen that you can see. Okay, done. Now go to the server. I don't tell, guys, you have to help Pooja. Okay, she is facing an issue in creating the table. Okay, please help her.
Yeah, sure, sir.
I have to go on server or on this creating database.
Yeah, particular database.
Yes, okay. Okay. New query. Done. Then
Create table.
No, what you are trying to, Pooja, what you are trying to do, tell them that they don't know, right, what you are trying to do.
Okay, I want to create a table.
Okay.
And
So that query.
I'm going for that, creating all the steps same like sir. But in the end, when I'm trying to execute that with select from and the name, object name, I'm trying like sir did DBO dot teams, but then it's failed.
What is
Maybe
the error?
you are choosing a different database name, I guess.
No, what is
like
the error?
error is your object name is wrong.
So then you're choosing the incorrect database, maybe one of the, or maybe there is a spelling mistake in the table that you are writing.
But it's
Maybe-
not showing any error.
Yeah, the best way you can, you can code here so that everyone can see and they can suggest you.
Yeah.
Just create a table, just write create table and the name of the
Right
table.
now, or I will.
Yeah.
If any existed table, you can show me that also.
Okay.
Let's go with existing table, Pooja.
Sir, I
that
have
is better on
deleted
existing table.
that table because I got frustrated.
So,
sir, okay, everyone, can I create one table and in the evening batch I can ask in the end? Okay?
Yeah, sure. No problem. No
Yeah,
problem.
sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you, guys. We'll connect in the evening, 7 p.m. IST. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shannon.
Yeah, thank you.